Hey, it's your YouTube friend Brad here, and I'm giving you a Howard Stern recap from the week of November 27th. I take some of the stuff that I hear on the show that I think would be interesting to recap and try to break it down as much as I can and give you verbatim what Howard said, because I'm interested by some of the things. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't interest me on the show anymore, so I can't really listen the whole time. But this segment, called With the Problem with Society, made me... it piqued my interest, I'll say. So I'm going to give you a little recap of that, kind of verbatim what he was saying, or as much verbatim as possible. Please subscribe, as I add these, once a week, and I'll add some new interviews and all kinds of good stuff, and also take a look at the description as I sell some shirts that you might like related to the show. So I appreciate you coming. Let's get to the recap. So this is from Wednesday. And he goes, "This is something that I never put any thought into, but young people can tell when old people are texting. I must be texting like a young person, because when you text certain people, you can tell whether they read your texts. So Robin, if you're old, do you have that turned on that shows that I can see if this person read my text? If you're young, do you turn that thing off? That's what I do." This is commentary between Robin and Howard, by the way. Howard continued, "I don't want people knowing that I read their texts, because sometimes some people are so annoying with texting, I don't have time to get right back to them." And they said, well, he'll read it, and then he didn't respond to it. So if you're young, you just leave that feature off. But old people don't even know how to turn it off. But I'm texting like a young person now. Young people don't use periods anymore either. And they're texting when they don't use capital letters. They'll just do all run-on sentences. A period actually indicates that you're really angry, Howard said. Robin, for example, do you leave voicemails on the phone? You're not supposed to leave a voicemail anymore. This is old man Howard talking to Robin. Robin said, I don't leave them for you. I'll call you, and I just hang up when I hear that thing. I guess Howard has that weird voicemail thing that he still has. Howard continued on, "Oh, so then do you cold call people, meaning you just pick up the phone and call someone to have a conversation? There's certain people in my life who call me an old guy because I like to talk to people on the phone rather than text. I can't stand texting. I fucking hate it. I don't want to sit with my big clunky thumbs and type. I know how to type. My father told me to take typing in high school so I could type, and I enjoy that I took it, but now it's all with my thumbs. Evidently, that's being an old fart. You're supposed to just call someone or text someone and say you're free now, because I have people in my life who insist they make an appointment to talk to me. My life is so busy, and I'm so sure, like today, it's going to be the most horrible day. I have something scheduled every 45 minutes to an hour today. This is the most relaxing part of my day, doing the show. So here's what I have," Howard says. He goes, "Today, first I got the shrink, and then I'm going to work out. I'm going to meet my wife for a walk. I've got a meeting scheduled with someone, and then by the time dinner time comes, every minute I've got something scheduled every bit of the day. So if I have 5 minutes, I want to pick up the phone and call someone. You can't have people..." Well, let's edit that part out. This is when he led to, "I have a feeling all of society is crumbling." So this is the part where I was like, okay, let's hear Howard's old man take about the society crumbling. He said, "You know what? A lot of these doctors, they're leaving these so-called red states, the ones that vote against abortion. They're against science. They hate people who are vaccinated. And doctors and professionals are like, what the fuck am I doing living here? We're the enemy, and they're leaving town. They're hightailing it out. They just want to be a doctor, and they want to help a woman who might be having a problem with a fetus. I'm really alarmed by what's going on, and I'm alarmed by these candidates that people are voting in. I don't know how you vote for someone who tried to overthrow the United States government with this bitch guy. He's our guy. I just don't get it. You know what? I love this country." This is what Howard said. He continued, "I love that I have the right to vote, and I can choose my elected representative. That's what I love most about this country. And now I see people giving the Nazi salute? What an insult to every young man who died fighting Hitler. People are angry. They don't want to pay taxes. They want to get rid of the IRS. Do you want these roads built? It's because the IRS keeps getting our budget together. They don't have enough staff to go after the people who aren't paying taxes. Otherwise, we have no society." So Howard going on this rant. Actually, I saw that he had this is on paper that he was reading this. I wonder who wrote it. Continues on. When there's a hurricane and it wipes out your community, everyone goes, well, we need help from the federal government. 55 minutes ago, you were against helping the federal government. You didn't want a federal government. Your roads are maintained by the government. Those infrastructure bills that passed? It's building new roads and maintaining roads that are going to fall apart. And these guys are campaigning. I promise to take I promise to take everyone's government and healthcare and start applying, and they can't explain government healthcare. That's the other thing. Here's my theory. I think people in this country have it too fucking good, and they're looking for something that doesn't exist. Government is there just simply just to run our infrastructure, to take care of our military. It's a giant business that can be conducted between states. You know what I think about transgender? Fuck that issue, Howard said. I feel everything's backwards. Everything is just weird, and just like even yesterday, my wife, she's 51 years old, and I've been after her to get this shingles vaccine. There's some research out there that shows when you get shingles vaccine, it helps you fight against Alzheimer's, believe it or not. It protects you from whatever fucks up your brain when you get older. And I hate to be so goddamn pessimistic, but, well, you didn't go to a really dark place with that stuff. I can, actually. And I'm in the darkest place. I really think bad shit is ahead of us. I'm sorry, I've never seen this country like this before. We're so fucking anti-science and anti-vaccine. The other day, a guy just opened up the emergency door on a plane and crawled out of the wing, Howard said. Holy shit, flying's a horror story. Fucking maniacs, you're trapped in this tin can 30,000 feet above air. And then there's a maniac. This is a flight on Frontier. A passenger freaked out and she was climbing over rows of seats and on top of people, and it sounded chaotic because it was crazy. You know what? We broke down as a society when they started with the casual dress and no standards, Howard said. The world is crumbling because the fringe has become the mainstream. I don't mean to pick on Frontier Airlines, but on another flight, this woman was not allowed to even use the bathroom. So what did she do? She pulls down her pants and squirts in the aisle, and the people freaked out. When I was on the radio in the 90s and stuff like that, there was no social media, there was none of this, and a lot of people had extreme opinions, but they had no access to the other crazy people. They couldn't find anybody else, Howard said. Yet, so like the real fringe, people had no power, and now with social media, you can take one knucklehead living in his mom's basement and he can become really important. Social media is just a megaphone for stupidity, and it's gotten so bad that it's become like these people find each other, and then they feed into each other all day long. They feed into each other, and it's really bad, man. Really, it's social media. That's responsible for a lot of these people feeling empowered, Howard said. You know, the bullshit about, the Jews, some kind of secret powers and secret societies are running everything, and I'm like, okay, I was born here, and my parents were Jewish. I was born into this religion, Howard said, and I've never practiced religion, really, I'm just growing up. I was in the one of the most poorest, most brutal communities in all of the United States. He always goes into this, by the way. This is Howard talking, but it always goes back to this line of talk. I don't know why he keeps trying to get this out there. It was so bad, it had to be run by the state school system, and yet somehow I'm part of this group that's super rich and running the world. I don't even know what the fuck anyone's talking about, except that I spent most of my life getting the shit beaten out of me. I was born into some sort of religion or secret power? You should have met me in high school. Nobody exposed me to it because I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Now, I do read history, and believe it or not, in Poland and in Warsaw, I thought World War II, it was considered the jewel of Europe. Now, I know Poland, they killed all the Jews, he said, that were living there. And that just went on and on. But that was his rant on Wednesday, talking about how society is crumbling. I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to transcribe it and let you hear it here if you don't have Sirius or you couldn't catch some of it. Old man Howard getting after it again.